Mesechus Eruvin that tzadi test. The more brings the halacha of Rava, the Amarve Chayfetz, with Chilas Daled, the Soif Daled, the Haviru Derech, all of his chayiv. Rashi says that it means that you brought it Lumaila from 10 Tvachim high, you brought it from beginning of Daled Amis to the end of Daled Amis, and in the middle you brought it higher than 10 Tvachim. Places on the Tzadiches asks, it's not mashma like Rashi that you brought it on the roof. It doesn't say anywhere that it's discussing higher than 10 Tvachim. Ayin Evi Ezri from a Pshach that he asked, do you see from Rashi a tremendous chiddush, even though in the middle of the Havor of Dalet Amis, you went higher than 10 Tvachim, higher than 10 Tvachim is a makom petur, still Yechayev, like it's Mavor and Rashi, that the main Mechayev for Akira and Hanocha of Dalet Amis is the Akira and the Hanocha. And even if in the middle goes through a makom petur, you're still Chayev. And he asks, it's Tzorichin from this Rashi on Reb Chaim, that says in stencils, and we mentioned the Shurim and Shabbos, that hey, that's cholik be'ikki yisoy gidroy, the halacha of Mavet al-Amis Reshus horabim, and Akir from Reshus to Reshus, Akir from Reshus to Reshus, the Mechayiv is the Akir and the Hanocha. However, Mavet al-Amis Reshus horabim, the entire Havoras al-Amis, the Ikki Gormi Achiv, and the Akir and the Hanocha is only a side Tnai, and therefore the Rambam paskins that in the middle of Dalet Amis passes a petur komle. Moving further on, the Mishnah says if someone's standing in Reshus HaYachid, he shouldn't drink from Reshus horabim, or if he's standing in Reshus horabim, he shouldn't drink from Reshus HaYachid unless he's machnis roishe v'ruboy to the other Reshus. And some more in the sugya that the concern is that he might bring the chayfetz from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim. Rashi asks, why is the actual drinking not a chesaron, the same way the halacha is in the Mishnah before, the mashtin v'roik, if someone spits from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim, it's also because it's havara from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim. So here also, if someone's drinking from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim, it should also be a concern. Now that Rashi says now it's different, because since you're sticking your head in from Reshus horabim to Reshus HaYachid to drink, so the Akira and the Hanocha is all in the Reshus HaYachid because your head is in Reshus HaYachid. The Rishonim ask a kasha on Rashi. Although the beginning of the Hanocha is in Reshus HaYachid or in Reshus horabim, when you're in Reshus HaYachid and you have your head in Reshus horabim, the Hanocha is going to continue when the drink goes through your throat into your intestines, and that should be considered a Hanocha in Reshus HaYachid. There's two mahalchim in the Rishonim to answer this kasha. Tosfos and the Chav Amud Aleph and the Rosh say the answer is that over here, since his head was in Reshus HaYachid, that has halacha of a makom petur, and since it's from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim derech makom petur, in such a situation where we're not concerned that you'll go straight, it's impossible in such a situation to go straight. Therefore, you're potter. The Even Oizer points out from these Rishonim, you see a tremendous chiddush that if you have your head in a different reshus, it has halacha of a makom petur. So the same thing will be if you stick your hand out and it's noch for a small period of time in your hand. It's considered like you're going from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim derech makom petur. The fact that your hand is stretched out over the other reshus makes it like a hanocha makom petur. And he says it's negei l'maisa. The eights, if you have to bring a child for bris milah, and there's an issue of bringing the child from Reshus HaYachid to a Carmelis, he says you could just stick your hand out to the other reshus and hold the baby for a short period of time. That's considered a havara derech makom petur, which is mutter. The Beis Meir is ma'irich to eskashis on the Even Oizer. He brings rayas from the first parak in Shabbos that's also in such a situation, and he says that Tosfos is only talking about when you're bringing mashke, you're drinking from the other reshus, and it's going to your mouth. However, if you're bringing your hand over from one reshus to other reshus, it doesn't have this heter of a makom petur. And then the Beis Meir, it's another kasha, that although when you have your head from Reshus HaYachid to Reshus horabim, it has a halacha of makom petur. If you're in Reshus horabim and you stick your head into reshut hayachid, how could it be considered a makom petur? The halacha is that reshut hayachid's oid la'ad l'rekia and doesn't have a din of a makom petur. The same way to Mavur, in the Rashba, you can't become a caramelist high in reshut hayachid because reshut hayachid's oid la'ad l'rekia. So to answer this kasha, we can answer according to the Ran that we brought in the Shurim Daf Pehayim and Beis, and we mechiach in the Sefer Matnas Chen that it's choluk the reshus of makom petur and reshus of caramelist. So caramelist is a reshus, and it's a cholik reshus la'atzmai. However, the halacha of a makom petur is not a reshus for himself. The whole din of makom petur is that's not meshich shaykh to reshus horabim to be considered like a hanocha mechayeves. So according to this, even though the reshut hayachid's oila ad rekia, and you can't be mechalik to make a different reshus, but a makom petur you could be chal. The Ritva says a different teretz that over here, when you drink, it's not you're not mechuyev because it's going down the meila, and it's not considered anocha mikoychav. It's tzorchi and lemaisa. It's not considered a gromel lemaisa. You're doing it. I in the shiur on the peiches. That we mechiach that Eitzah is different than other malachis, and Eitzah is totally in how much you have das with your Eitzah. Only with that you're chayiv. So over here, you only brought it into your mouth. The fact that it goes down in your stomach is not considered a ma'aseh mikoychay and wouldn't have a chayiv Eitzah. Moving further, the Gemara says that according to Ravi, you're not goyz the gzeira, and v'chein the gas means that in your ma'aser that if you're eating in the gas, it's not kaveh l'maiser. Kaveh asked, by maiser itself, it should be gzeir the gzeir, because even if you take a head out and it's kaveh makom, it's only d'rabbanon because it's not a gemar malacha. I in the shurim from Samagar B'Shlita that he says that a teretz according to Yisrael from Yeshua's David from David Pevarsky that it says that be'emes tzorchi and Rashi over here says caramelis is a bika. So in Rashi earlier on that to be considered reshus horabim, you have to have shishim ribui. So even if you have a reshus horabim that doesn't have shishim ribui, it's also a caramelist. Why does Rashi have to say bika? So he says, you see from here, tremendous chiddush that a reshus horabim that doesn't have shishim ribui is choluk from a bika. A reshus horabim doesn't have shishim ribui, it's not a gzeira, it has halacha of a reshus horabim midrabanan. That's the get of that is a caramelist. However, bika, the gzeira of a bika is a gzeira. It's not a drabanan dika caramelist. So according to this, if someone says the same thing by gas, you could say the same thing by meiser, although that when you might see piv chutz from the gas, it's not considered a gzeira. Over there, it's a chiv meiser midrabanan, and it's not included in gzeira the gzeira.